is Bill Mosley. I am a former teacher of Grossmont College. I retired last June. I teach there part-time. I have taught figure drawing, painting, 2D design. In the past, I've taught art history at another college. The three pieces that you see here are based on an experience I had a few years ago traveling to Iceland. When I visited Iceland, someone suggested I go see this waterfall called the Pastel, and I'm not Icelandic, so I didn't say that correctly. On the drive up to this waterfall, I noticed what I thought was a cloud. I stopped and I was looking outside, stopped at a traffic stop place, and I noticed this white line that initially I thought was a cloud. It turned out to be a glacier. I'd never seen a glacier before. And what struck me was it went on. I mean, this is the smallest glacier in Iceland. It went on forever, and it was gigantic. If you've never personally seen a glacier, it's worth the experience. On the flight back from Iceland, I was sitting next to a gentleman who went to high school in Iceland with a family from Iceland. We were both looking out the window, and it just happened to be sunny. And he goes, "I've never seen it sunny over Greenland." And we looked down, and when we approached the bottom part of Greenland, he goes, "Look at that, it's clear." And so I looked out the window, I'm a tourist coming home, and I saw these glaciers feeding these fjords, and then we flew right over the top of the fjord, and I saw these glaciers, and they were huge, and they were breaking off, and I go, "Well, there it is, there's climate change. How can you argue with that? That's it." So that's what inspired this series. When I came home, I started doing some research. So these images are all about that part of the world. I gathered them from primarily from news footage and my own experience and my own photography is what this series is based on. So I work from direct drawing on location or from images I gather. So the central panel is an oil on canvas. It's a piece of ice that's now called an iceberg. It's not a glacier anymore, and it's just sitting out in the middle of the water. So in the background, you'll notice what that is that's the fjords that are feeding the ice out into the ocean. The way I see that glacier is, what it really is telling me is, I think of it as nature looking back at me, because I think of it as an eye, just as a metaphor. It looks like I'm looking into the eye of nature, and nature is looking at me, and what it's telling me is, I'm sending you a sign. It's up to you to interpret it, right? That's how I see it in my head. Now, in terms of technically what I was interested in is, I've never painted ice before. I didn't want it to be too real. I'm sure it looks realistic to a lot of people. I didn't want it to be completely abstract. I always try to find a balance between those two things. I sketch out the idea, and then I start painting, and then I either add or subtract, and I keep adding or subtracting the material until I arrive at what I think I want you to see. Drawing has the flexibility of painting. You can be flexible in painting, but it's not the same thing. So once I have the sketch in, I put in the color, and I keep building the color up on the surface until I approach what I'm looking for, because I'm pushing the color as far as I can without it being abstract. And then the final thing I do is I take my little finger, or my index finger, or the heel of my thumb, and I just mush them all together. And then if I have to touch it up, like in that area, I'll do that. And I want it to have that sort of smoothness that you would see if you actually were looking at this as a subject. This is fairly realistic for that, but what's not here is the surface of the ice. There's certain characteristics that are there that I'm not capable of. I don't want it to be an illustration anyway. I want it to be an expression. I thought this one might be one of the more successful of the ones that I did. And sometimes it just works out that happens. I don't, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And the reason I'm saying that is because I try to find a balance between representation and expression that I feel comfortable with personally as an artist. And I think I hit nail on the head as best I could in this situation. So if you look carefully at this, what I like about it is I really like the transition from here to here, from foreground to middle ground to background. And But if I go back a few feet and I look at it, it looks, I think it looks kind of what you